scrapbookers. So I'm just showing you the bin that I have of pattern paper on my desk. And sometimes when I go to the scrapbook store, I will fall in love with the paper and just say, like, oh, I'm going to buy that or this. And I don't have any kind of particular plan for that paper. And so sometimes I feel like when I'm going to my photos first, wouldn't it be more fun to go to your paper first? So let's do that. Okay, so this is Alice & Craft, and I love the polka dots. It's called Sprinkle with Love, Secret Admirer, and it's got paper airplanes on the back. So the colors are red and light blue, and I seriously just randomly picked this one because I kind of feel like a lot of my paper just isn't getting used, and so I thought I'd start with paper first. So paper airplanes make me think of school, which makes me think of going to the library. And this paper, which is not by Alice & Craft, it's by Crate Paper, it looks like a library card. So I think those work well together. Let's just keep going with that in mind. And then, let's see. Here's a report card. That's a very contrasting color, but let's pull it. It's by, let's see, Cosmo Cricket. Okay, I don't remember that one. Here's another one that looks like a ledger. That doesn't look as much like school as the first two. And let me see what else I can find. I thought I had something kind of back here that was in that theme of library. So let's go with like that blue and red. Here's text that might work. So I'm kind of putting together a color scheme and also a theme. So I'm using my pattern papers that are kind of themed. They're not like super duper themed. You could still do a lot of different things with that paper, but yeah. Okay, so I'm just seeing, should I pull any more? And I'm not really, just looking real quick. There's not, nothing's like totally speaking to me. So let's just start with that idea. Yeah. I really kind of, I don't know why, I think there's something back here that's calling to me, but I can't find it. So, oh, maybe it was all the way, okay. This is maybe, this has a this is Studio Calico, and it's kind of, yeah, it's got a library theme to it. Oh, how exciting is that? I knew there was something back there calling to me. I didn't know what or why, but I knew it was something. Okay, and then I'm just looking at, that has to do with crime, so that's kind of a no. And I'm just looking through the rest of that little collection, and I don't think I want any more of that. So I'm just going to pause while I put this big heavy bin aside, and then we'll look at those papers. Okay, scrapbookers, I am back. So I really love the idea of doing a page about the library. And so I'm going to use these papers. And I think that there is a color story here. I think this yellow brings in this yellow. And then we've got, you know, black and white and red all over, sort of, with if we use this text piece and then the red paper airplanes, which just make me think of, like, you know, when you're not really paying attention in the library. So let's start cutting these up and seeing, let's first take, what do we want to take from this here? And there's a few things I like. So let's bring out the guillotine cutter. I arranged my camera a little bit closer today, and I'm not sure whether I like that or not. We'll see. Let me know if you notice any difference at all. Okay, so this is a Studio Calico piece of paper, and it's like, I would call this a cut apart piece. So I could use this as a whole border, or I could break it up. The ones that really I like on this page are this one, it's called Her Book, and this one with the tree. And then I like this one over here and this one. So let's cut those apart and just see how far that takes us. And so I sort of am starting to think about some of the photos that I could use in this, when the sneeze, hold on. Excuse me, oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be my sneeze. I don't know, it's goofy. So these two, I like them. They are nice paper cut aparts. I'm going to put them in this very fancy bowl that I have. If you don't believe me that it's a fancy bowl, look on eBay. It's a fancy bowl. But it holds my scraps, and so that's my super fancy bowl. And then, excuse me, then I picked this one up. This was only $23 at an antique store when we were on our vacation, and I gotta shine it up. But it looks like the fancy bowl, but I don't think it's not as valuable as that other one. Okay, sorry about the tangent. No, I'm not. I'm known for that. That's what, yeah, I enjoy the tangents. Okay, I hope you do too. So, here we go. We've got the cut aparts, and I like this idea of having something that repeats. And so, this yellow repeats. But then if I use this tree will repeat. I guess the part I'm not crazy about is this one. So let's cut that, well, let's see. I'm not there yet. Okay. So say we use this, and let's just use that upside. I actually don't think I want to use that. Okay, let's try this. Is it Cosmo Cricket, really? It's Cosmo Cricket by Advantis from 2013. I don't really remember this. Second half month. Oh, this is like taxes. Okay, so I'm starting to try to think about how am I going to arrange this page, and I'm not sure yet. This is one idea, right? Kind of make a cross with then a little, you know, doohickey up there. And if I did that, how would I arrange this into there? Because this was really that first inspiration piece. And then I've also got this paper, which I'm pretty crazy about. This could be really the whole background. You know, though, I don't think so. I think I like that bright yellow as the background, as crazy as that sounds. So then I could kind of border this up, maybe. I think what I want to do is to make that, or I could do it this way, so it would kind of be going across. Actually, I think I want this one to go across, so let's cut out a little bit of that. So I'm going to cut like 12 by 3. Okay. So that's going to be my going across piece. And then, yeah, I do want a little bit of that other paper. So that was the Allison Craft. And I'm going to cut the little, what do you call it? Strip off the bottom of this one, this yellow one. So I'm really starting with the paper and then how to arrange it. could go like that. And then I could kind of skip one. Let's do that. Is that weird? It seems kind of weird. How about that all the way on the top, and then this is tucked in. See, I don't know where my photos are going to go yet, so that's another question. Let's just add a strip of this in, though, while we're still thinking about it. So, just really want to border this a little bit. Because you know what's so funny is okay, so speaking of the library, my daughter and I, when we were on our road trip that we took over the this summer, we went to the library that I used to go to when I was a kid. So I'm going to cut this in half once more. Just so that's a little bit. Just want to border this, and then I think that the edges of this blue are a little bit too big, so I'm going to trim those down just a little. Like that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now I need to go get those photos that I was just telling you about. Well, I started to tell you and then I stopped talking, sorry. Yeah. So I'm thinking that we went to go see two libraries. One was the one that I actually went to as a kid, and we actually ended up spending like a couple of hours looking at horse books, which is what I used to look at when I was a kid. And yeah, and so, and then we went to this other library that was in the village called Paynerum of the town that I grew up in, and it was a very pretty historic looking library, and so I went in just because we were there and I was curious, and I talked to the lady and she was like, so did you used to come here as a kid? And it was kind of like a test question because I was like, I don't think that I did. Like, I remembered the building, but I didn't really remember using it as a library. And she said that it wasn't when I was a kid. It stopped being a library in the 60s. But she said that she gets people coming in all the time. It's like a historical society now. And so they were very friendly and talked to us and blah, blah, blah. But she said that she gets kids like my age and younger, not that I'm a kid, I'm 44, but people come in and they swear to her that they went and used that library when they were kids, and it wasn't used as a library since the 60s, which is before I was born. So she always thinks that's pretty funny. I thought that was pretty funny too. Because it really was, once you see the picture, if I can ever get there, it's a very pretty building. And so I think that as kids we kind of maybe imagine, because it was always called the Southworth Library, but it didn't function as a library for a long time. Where's the photo? Oh gosh, I guess I need to really go through and organize these pictures a little bit better. Maybe I didn't order it. That would be so tragic. Oh my gosh. Ugh, I don't think I did. But in this pack, I see something I can do instead, which is going to be pretty different than the way that I thought this was going to go. So here's the pictures. This is about the right time. on the vacation. I don't think I printed them up. Darn it. Okay. Let me just look one more time. Look over here. This is New Bedford. I don't think I printed up the pictures of the library. I guess when I was editing, I didn't think they were all that interesting, but I should have thought to myself, I want to tell that story. But I took 9,000 pictures on my trip, so there were a lot of possibilities. So before I even get into this little stack here, and I think I can use something, I am going to tack this all down, okay? Because I really think that, and I think the tax paper is going to work now, because part of my subject is going to be about my grandfather, who was an accountant, his old books. And I photographed them when I was at my aunt's house. And so she's moving, and my other aunt is also moving. So part of my road trip was to get to both of their houses so that I could, you know, look at all their old stuff before they started packing it away. And so I looked at the old scrapbooks and all the old family keepsakes and that sort of thing. And part of the thing that I was so drawn to was the old books. And I guess when my grandparents died, and my aunt and my mom split up everything. And, you know, the kids, like the grandkids, we did really get a lot of stuff. So I'm not complaining at all. But I will complain about this. My mother, I guess, said to my aunt, like, oh, I don't really care about the old books. You just take them all. So my aunt has all the old family books. And I'm super jealous because I think they're so cool and would love to have them. A couple of them in particular. And I think on this page what I'm going to do is I took a lot of photos of the old family books, but there's no way I'm going to be making like a million scrapbook pages about them. So what I'm going to do is kind of let's do a page and then one of those Project Life pages to accompany it. Won't that be fun? I think it will be. So this is going to be like, this is my, now it's my aunt's. I'm like, Mom, seriously, why didn't you? Anyways, but when I see it, it's like, it's so funny because when I see these old, the old books, I just have such a reaction to them. It's really crazy because they were books that I saw growing up. So here's, okay, this is still Mystic, Connecticut, so that should go in a different file. Hold on. Let's see if I can get it in the right place. I won't take up your time with that. Okay, I did. Yay, I got it in the right place. Okay, so these are mostly pictures of, like that's a blanket that my grandmother knit, and then these are shoes that my aunt didn't know who the heck they were. These are old family photos. We don't know who. That's a dead baby. So sad. But they used to take pictures of dead babies. And I guess people still do. I don't know. I think they do. So there's my aunt and my uncle. And there they are. These are the books. Like, there's a big, they have a new granddaughter. But there's all the books that I'm talking about are on this bookshelf behind them. So I don't really want to use this photo for that purpose, because I actually want to tell a different story with this picture, because my aunt is addicted to selling things on eBay. So that's what she's up to in that picture. Okay, so these are all like my grandmother's old coat. I just photographed like a whole bunch of things, you know, the little snuffer thing that you do with the fireplace. Okay, this would be a nice thing to include on this page, and I think that that's going to work in this space because this is like a statue in New Bedford, Massachusetts. And that's where my family is from, or a part of them are from there. Part of my family's from there. And so it's a very, you know, New Bedford, Massachusetts was a whaling city. And my aunt, of course, has like the old Moby Dick book, because we have one. Okay. So I don't know if that's how it's going to work or not. We shall see, as my grandpa used to say, we shall see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I'm going to, but that I like, and I also like that it kind of points to, you know, you might need to turn it over and then, or look to the next page. So let's just pull out the photos that have to do with the library. And what I'm going to do, instead of making you look through all of these, oh, here's, okay, I'm so into genealogy right now, and this is a page of the book that I remember looking at when I was a kid, and it was like, a cat and a dog cannot mate and have offspring because they are different species. And this is so racist, but maybe it's not, but it's like, but all varieties of humans are fertile with one another, and the tallest Nordic could mate and produce a child perfectly normal in the eyes of nature. With it's just like it's the smallest pygmy and the tallest Nordic could make and produce a child perfectly, and so that's just, it's like an olden book, you know. there's the baby, like a horse and a donkey can mate, but then, you know, they don't do so well after that. Anyways, that was one of the books that I really enjoyed as a kid. So, all right, way tangent. Okay, this I like for the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the rest of these photos, and then I'm going to pause the tape for just a second so I can grab a Project Life card, and yeah, we'll get started. Hold on just a sec. Okay, I'm back. And remember I said I thought something was calling to me when I was flipping through that bin? It's because this was on the very last piece of my bin, but when I was looking at it, when I was flipping through, I was just seeing this houndstooth. But then every time I walked into where my scrapbooking space is, I was seeing these library cards. So they were definitely on my mind. So this is definitely going on the page. Okay, so I have pulled the photos that I want to use for this layout on, I pulled them from all of the photos that I printed on my trip. And then I pulled a Project Life type page, and this is going to be a little bit challenging because, okay, so this photo I definitely want to go on that cover page. I think I want that maybe on the cover page. I might put it actually over there, so it maybe won't go on there. But I want to pull a couple things that will probably go, yeah. I would like to include the Moby Dick photo on that front page, or I think so. This is another way I could do it. Didn't print everything. I don't even think I printed that. Okay, and then this is my grandfather's signature, and that, it's not going to totally fit on this, but he oftentimes wrote his name in the books. Yeah, so all of these things I'm thinking might go on that cover page, but I'm not for sure. So let's just leave those to the side for right now. And then let's work on this Project Life page. So this, if you, let's see if I can show it to you a little bit easier so you can see it better. Okay. So this is a different one. It's made by Plaid Productions. Plaid Productions? I have no idea. But it's got two horizontal landscape orientations up top, and then it's got 3 portraits. But they're not 4 by 6. They're more like 4 by way longer than 6. So that's going to pose a little challenge. It's 4 by 7 and almost a half. Weird size, huh? Okay. So for the 2 top photos, I like the idea. Oh, this is very challenging because these are much smaller than the space. How weird. But I like that idea of having these photos of the library right at the top. It does. How bizarre. Very, very weird. Okay, so I really like this photo of the Moby Dick. It's very striking, but I think that might go onto that front page. Oh, how confusing. So I think it's fun to just kind of, this is better. Okay, so this is going to tie in that other photo, so to show you that that's on the shelf there. And yeah, I think I like that. Is a little bit of a stronger photo. It's a weird arrangement though. And then so I think I'm also going to use the back side of this. And so on the back side, I think this is going to be where the photos were. And then, let's just see. So these would be like 3 different books. That's not going to fit, but this will. This weird meeting one. Oh, it's so funny, right? I really want to have that whole bit, and I'm not sure. I didn't photograph that very smart. Whoops. I kind of did it on a slant, and I should have just done it straight on. Oh, well. Okay. So I'm almost thinking like I've chosen the totally wrong page for this. But rather than going back and like agonizing over the whole thing, let's just keep going, because seriously, I could spend like lots and lots of time looking and it wouldn't get me very far. So what I want to do is let's get something for behind these photos, and let's just see if that's going to work. I'm not totally in love with that. I'm not in love with, oh, that's interesting. I think what I would like is some kind of a toned down, something more like this here. So, and I think I like the idea of using this card over here. So I'd like to get kind of a muted, or just a cream kind of a color. And, oh, this isn't totally going to work, but there's another Ex Libris. So I just pulled that. You know what's a little weird about this too? Okay, so these 6 by 6 will work in this space, since, let's just test one. So if you're not familiar with my videos, I do not, yeah, those are going to work. So if I find a 6 by 6 piece of paper, then that can work in this space. So I just want something kind of nondescript, like something that's going to blend into the background. This is kind of cute, actually. It's text. Yeah, let's do that. So I just need to tighten that up a little bit. And I'm just going to, I use my fingernail to kind of mark off where I need to cut it. I'm going to cut it this way and then just a little bit off the side. think I like that for this one because it's kind of, it'll go in with that diagonal. Does that work? I don't know. Oh my gosh. This and this are not the same size, so it's gonna go here. Whether I want it to or not. I'm gonna try to slide that in upside down so that your eyes aren't gonna focus on the words on the page. They're just gonna it's just gonna read that as text. So one thing I've heard about people say when they're doing these Project Life type albums is that it's kind of frustrating because it's almost like you're making, so this is a weird a weird shape because I could just put this right in the center, which I think I'm gonna do, or I could kind of try to butt it up to the other one like this, and then they'll read more as like one, but I think I'm gonna do that. The thing that I don't like about putting it directly in the center is that then the margins on the top and the bottom are different than the margins on the sides. So if I put it up and then put something under it, I think that might look better. Or did it kind of over? Let's do it up to the top, and then maybe we can figure out something to put underneath it. So that's going to go there. And then this one's going to be a different, it's going to be different. That looks straight. It almost doesn't look straight because of the, but the frustrating thing here is I've got an extra little edge, which I guess I could do like this kind of a deal and then edge it with this, like that could work. How bizarre. Let's do that. My goodness sakes. Who knew this would be so confusing, huh? But I kind of just wanted to go with a more muted kind of a color. I didn't want it to be exactly that busy. Although I don't mind this because it kind of brings in all of those colors. So we're going to, it's going to be the same height. That part's going to be fine. And then I'm just going to edge it with this over here. And I like this print, not because it's my favorite print, but it's just kind of a, looks kind of like 70s, I guess. Oh, this is so bizarre. This is a hard, this is a hard little nut to crack. Okay. I actually think maybe that's too much. It's too much action. Let's do this one. It's just kind of a blue that's gonna, I don't know. It's gonna go okay. I think I was making a video yesterday and I mentioned that sometimes I think we put way too much thought and effort into all this, and I didn't mean it. Like, I did mean it, but didn't mean it in a bad kind of way. I do it too. I'm guilty as well. But I really think that maybe we could all just settle down on it just a little bit and not worry so much. Because it's, you know, it's important, but it's not like life-shattering or earth-shattering. It's just paper and pictures. And yes, we want to get them down in a visually appealing way, but does that have to be like perfect every time? It so doesn't. So there you go. Here's my thoughts on that. But the other kind of frustrating thing I think about this project, the Project Life pocket pages, is if you're doing what I'm doing and I'm sliding the pages in and out, like that I'm working on, I think that kind of adds to your time. So I really shouldn't do that, but otherwise I feel like I have 50 things going on my desk, and you know I do. It's all up there. I have a lot of things going on my desk, like more than I ought to, but oh well. So this is going to go in this space, and then we're just going to kind of add that over this way. You know, technical terms of scrapbooking here. And I like this because, you know, the topics on my grandparents' bookshelves were varied. You know, they read a wide variety of things. And we used to look at these books when we were kids. But with different eyes than what I look at it. Like now when I look at the books, I look for different things. Like now I look for, oh, whose book was that? When was it made? And that sort of thing. And when I was little, we were just really looking to see what do the pictures look like. You know, there's a different perspective. Now, oh, there's the photo. Gonna go like right there. And what I really should be doing is pulling out some of these little bits that I'm using so that I can incorporate that, you know, repeat them. And I think this might be fun because those are very repetitive. I like that this little icon of the camera is in there, but I guess I'm going to cover it up. Oh well. It's okay. So I need that, though, to go over. So I am going to just trim down that photo just a little so the photo can kind of be underneath. And then what I would like to do is keep it consistent in margin-wise, like height and all that, with this over here. And now remember, I was going to put something underneath. I'm thinking washi tape is going to be a really easy way to do that. And let's just pick something that's a little bland. I don't think silver, though. I have silver, and that is bland. I wish I had gold, because I think the gold would work well with the stuff I've got on the other side of the page. But I don't see gold right off the top. I thought I had some, but I don't see it. Just have like a, I guess silver's going to work just fine. So this one looks new. Who knew? Kids hate it when I say that. They're like, oh, we knew. I don't think that's funny. Okay. So this little piece of washi tape is trying to provide some consistency between those two photos. So they kind of look like they go together. Yeah? Yes. I don't really want to cover up too much of the bottoms of those books because I like the way they look. Ugh, not very good at cutting that. It doesn't matter. Found it. Okay. So there you go. Books on shelves. I like that. And then I think I want this one to go over here, but it's going to need like a bottom, right? So I think this is about 4.5 or less. It seems like 4 1/4, which I'm going to need to know that. You all don't probably need to know that unless you have this particular page. It's a little bit less than 4 1/4, but I'll need to know that because I'm going to have to make 6 of these things here. And then I kind of, even though this is really, seems really hokey, right? I maybe this down here, is that too hokey? It kind of seems like this is very cartoonish, and all these photos are more like old. You know, the photos are old, and I think, and my motif, like this and this, I think would go together really well with those photos of me and my daughter at the library. So I'm going to put these away. I'm going to put them way in the back of the bin where they were before, so when I order those pictures, I'll remember. So that's going away. And then let's get to work here. So if you remember, this, it's going to look something like this. So my kind of visual triangle is, I'm thinking about that. Oh, you know what I could put on the bottom though? This, maybe, thinking, something down here, and maybe this here, down here, that will work. So that was, remember, that was like 4 1/4. A little bit less than 4 1/4, I said. I think I said that. Yep. And then that's just going to go like kind of underneath down here. Oh, I know I'm going to have to trim this, but I'm just trying to get the height right at this point. So I have been on a total Ancestry.com binge. It's crazy. I feel like it's crack. And it's just, it's so amazing. And I wish I could like resurrect my dad from the dead just so he could see it all. Which I'm sure, you know, up there in heaven, he's totally aware. But it's so interesting. It's just, I wish he could see it. It's so cool. I wish I could just, I guess what I really wish is that I could see his reaction to it all. Like, he would just be so amazed by all of how easy researching your family history is. So I'm related to like a bunch of really cool people, including Taylor Swift is my 10th cousin, 2 times removed. A bunch of presidents, and just like, it's just really, really, really amazing. So I think this is how I'm going to do this part of it. So, okay. Yeah, Annie Flavin had this book on the duties of young men, which I just thought, like, why does she have so she was like my great-grandmother, and I was thinking, like, what does she have with that? Like, why would she have that? That just seems weird. So, who knows? But I'm just going to kind of arrange these so that will be poking up at the top. So that was Annie's book, for who knows why. And I think it might be, yeah, I wanted to do that on the top. But I think it might be cool to have some little strip of something right here. Maybe this again, just to kind of separate it just a little bit. Does that fit? It does. Okay, so this is how it's going to go. Yeah, so Taylor Swift is my 10th cousin. I'm related to like Laura Ingalls and 10 presidents, and I mean, like a lot of people. And you know what's so funny? I mean, like, you probably are too. It's just a matter of figuring out the connections. It's just, fascinating. But I did the Ancestry DNA, so I can also see who my cousins are, like who distant cousins are, and then get information from their family trees, and it's just totally amazing. It really is. But it's also like a huge time suck. So it's not time consuming, you know, if you want to find out like one little thing, like to figure out how I'm related to Taylor Swift, for example. That takes a half an hour. You know, in my dad's time, that would have taken like 5 years. But what was I going to say? I was going to say a lot. How do you like that? Sorry. So 4.1. Do this a second here. 4.1. Get this going again. And I just want to do a little bit of consistency here. So I'm going to hold on just a sec. I'll start talking again. Just doing some cutting. So, but the thing is then you're like, oh, well, if I'm related to Taylor Swift, then I'm also related to, like, Laura Ingalls. Yeah, if you're related to Taylor Swift, you are, well, if you're related to her through Richard Warren, who was on the Mayflower and one of the signers of the Mayflower Compact, then you're related to both and a whole bunch of presidents. But yeah, and then it's just really like this rabbit hole of interesting stuff that, you know, what does it mean? I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's interesting. I think it's, I just think it's so fascinating that all of our, like our cells and our DNA, you know, is related to other people that, like, we could have, like, I don't necessarily have the same DNA as they do, but we could, and that's where, like, the DNA trickles down, but you don't get everybody, so it's just super interesting. Okay, I don't think that's going to fit, which is going to break my heart, because that's the part that I really wanted to include, because my grandmother wrote in her book, which was scandalous, right? Darn it. I should have thought that one out better. Oh well, I can reprint this, I think, if I need to. So let me trim that down, see if that's going to work. So she wrote her name in the book, but it wasn't on the cover page. It was like kind of somewhere else in the book. But now I think this ought to go over here. So I'll just switch these up like that. And I like that one of them is about like young men and the other one is about young women. So Annie Flavin, I think, was my grandmother's grandmother, because Ellen was her mom. Oh, that doesn't fit. How frustrating is that? So the different pockets aren't all the same size. Awesome. Not awesome. I'm saying that very sarcastically. That's annoying. So pocket page makers, here's my advice to you. If you're making 3 in a row pockets, they ought to be the same size. People. That's what I think. Okay, that does fit. But then I don't. See, that's, oh, it's so frustrating. I need to maybe do away with this part. Oh, there's a kid coming. Okay, this is very frustrating, I do say. Maybe somehow I can get this on the back, because it's just not working the way I want it to. So there's you and your heredity. And there's that crazy See, I really want to include that whole bit. So maybe that goes, ugh, I really don't like the way I photographed that. Oh well, let's trim it up anyways. And then we can maybe trim this a little bit. So I would love to, because I don't own this book, but I would love to get this book from my aunt. This is the one I really would love to have. So I'm going to have to cover up the mating of the cat and the dog. I know. Aren't you sad? I'm sad. Because I would love to have this book. And it's fascinating to me that my grandfather was interested in this, like a long time ago. I need to, you know what you can do if you really want an old book, is you can put that into, like, say, eBay, and have it alert you when one comes up. Okay, I kind of like that. I don't completely love it. It seems like this ought to go below, but then I would cover up. Oh. It's fine, right? Let's just leave that at that, and then let's fill in the back. Okay, I'm going to pause because when these tapes get kind of long, they're harder to upload to YouTube, so just hold on 1 second. Okay, let's do the back. So this was the one I was sort of having the trouble with, and I think I would like to include these pictures on the back. I can. Oh, I'm very, she also colored in the book. Shocking. Maybe I could do it like this. Yes. Just to know I guess my grandma was a little bit of a rebel, but I mean, I do still think it was a little bit shocking that she wrote in her book. I do. Can't believe she did that. She did it when she was a kid. I guess that's why it's so shocking, because she, her dad was very strict. She grew up Irish Catholic, and, like, she really wasn't allowed to do much. She used to tell me stories about all the stuff she wasn't allowed to do. Okay, so their books are now in their living room. And these people are now these people. So I want to have that. And then I also wanted to have this photo of the house to show where the books were when I remember them. So I think they're going to go kind of like this. And then I'll trim this to go here. I think that's going to work. Yep. Could also go like this. I think I like it actually like that. So summer is underway, and I kind of feel like we did all of this like super exciting stuff. We went all around the country, my daughter and I did, and now we're home, and she's kind of like, how come we're not doing exciting things every single day? And yeah, I've been totally like, we haven't been doing exciting things. We've just been like hanging around the house, but sometimes I think after you go away, you need to spend some time at home. So that's what we've been up to. And her and her brother have actually been getting along really well. So that's nice. That's a happy thing. And what else can I tell you about? going to do like this. Yep. Or this. I love that it's the happy hour series. So funny. Okay, I think it's going to go like this, even though I'm going to be covering up part of that, which I don't want to do, but it's okay. Maybe I can just trim that top part up a little. Okay. Dun-dun. So I got a little bit of that double stick tape over, so I just put the non-archival tape back there. Blasphemy, sinful, I know. Just like my grandma writing in the child's book. I can't believe she did that. So sometimes when I make pages like this, I almost feel like it's so focused on the pictures that I'm not telling all the stories of this page. But you know, it becomes a little bit like that Ancestry.com in that you know, there's only so much. It's really, you can't be telling every single story ever. Okay, I'm going to do it like that, even though you can't see this whole thing. And then instead of really harshly taping it, I'm going to just tape it this way. So if I pulled that out, which would be like, oh, maybe I could just make that a little smaller. If I pulled it out, then you could see, oh, you know, I'm gonna separate those. That's gonna be, it's okay. Mm-hmm. Do we like it better the other way? I don't know. Okay. So I've gotten comments. I haven't done a comment show. Sometimes I'll read the comments, and I have some videos that are just me reading the comments. And I get, like sometimes I'll get comments that when I say like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. And then someone will chime in and say, you're not boring, it's just fine. And sometimes I think they really are boring. And it's okay. I mean, like, I really think sometimes you do seem to be pretty boring. Like, I don't feel like I'm talking enough sometimes. Okay, I don't need this extra layer. Too much going on in here. Let's just have that little bit. It's just getting kind of bulky in this little arrangement. I do feel like pocket pages kind of take longer than regular pages. Do you feel like that? Because it's not really that whole decision of design decision, which is kind of fun. It's more like, how do I just fit all this stuff? It's not really, it doesn't feel as artistic. It feels more like a puzzle, like not a super fun puzzle, just a boring puzzle. You know? I don't know. It doesn't feel as fun as putting together a whole 12 by 12 scrapbook page. Let's see if these fit in. But yeah, I'm feeling like this is getting boring. So if it is, I'm sorry. And if you think it's not, I appreciate that, but I think you're just being nice. Because I think it is. But if you really think of me as like your, you know, your virtual scrap buddy, you know, your virtual scrap buddy isn't always going to be so interesting. So there you go. True to life. Okay. I think this needs to go here and this needs to go here. Just to break that up, I think. Yeah, annoying again because you really have to commit on these pages to the size because not all those pockets are the same. So annoying. It's okay, I'll live. Don't worry. Okay. Ta-da. And oh, maybe we can put that there since I like that so much. Yes, I do. So I can that's like that book I want so bad. I'm going to have to do a search on that. It's by Amram Scheinfeld. Ooh, that sounds, I don't know when that book was made. It was illustrated by the author. That's interesting. And in the genetic, and assisted in the genetic sections by Morton Schweitzer from Cornell University, including an original study of the inheritance of musical talent. Huh. Interesting. Okay, this might be a cute little place for that washi tape. Again, since I have it up here, I haven't put it on the back side yet. Let's just do like that. Just for a little, you know, repetition and consistency. But yeah, when I was at the Southworth Library with my daughter looking at all the old books, they didn't have the, let's see, that's not going to fit, darn it. They didn't have the cards anymore. They were all computerized. I was so disappointed. I mean, you know, I guess that's, they advanced with the times too. Yeah, that's not gonna, I thought that would be a cute place to put that, but it's not going to work. Okay, on to the back. This would be a good place for washi, but now I have to, annoyingly enough, like, pull these out again. But I kind of feel like it's probably worth it, especially, I'm not going to do it. Okay, here and here. I really wanted to get my daughter's picture in there, but I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to do that unless I can get it onto that title page, which that might happen. Okay, so now I just need 2 more pieces like these two, but instead of totally reinventing the wheel, I'm going to just use these as my templates for the 2 pieces of paper. And I'm not gonna, let's just see if I can just pull some paper real quick. I know that yellow doesn't match the yellow on the first page. It really doesn't. Let's not use that. I just want to use some paper that looks, this works better. That looks like olden times. Okay. So I'm just lining those up and then I'm going to cut them. Yeah, so sometimes I feel like these videos are pretty boring. And like a lot of people are making them now, so I don't know how useful it is for me to keep making them. But on the bonus side, if you like these videos, I do kind of like just chatting away as I'm making them. Like, that's kind of fun. I think it's fun. So if you like to listen, that's awesome. Tell me what you, I guess, tell me what you want to see. Like, I was looking at the, they have forums over at Get It Scrapped, not at Get It Scrapped. They do have forums at Get It Scrapped, but they also have forums at the Paper Clipping Roundtable. And one of the things that somebody was saying over there is they would really like to see album shares. And I thought that was pretty interesting. I hate that big boppy seat is in the middle of their picture there, but you know what? I'm just going to leave it because that's how it was. Okay, I kind of like the idea of adding some red in over here. No, I don't. Do I like this better? No. This is just a horrible picture because it's just not, I don't know. It's not a great picture. Let's see if the aqua works. I feel like anything I'm putting in here is just drawing attention to this, the bouncy seat. I'm just going to use this piece of paper because it seems, it fits on 3 sides. I only have to make 1 cut. There you go. If you can't decide, just use the, if you can't decide which scrapbook paper to use, just use the size that fits the best. To hell with everything else. Sorry, I said hell. I shouldn't have said that. But, yeah. Okay. And then sometimes I feel like I'm just up here talking to myself. But I know you're listening. Are you listening? Sometimes. I don't think everybody watches the whole videos, which is totally fine. Like, if I'm going too long, you can always fast forward. That's the beauty of these videos. Okay. Ta-da. So should I change those two? Yeah, I should. Oh, but I can't. Good. Now that's going to be done. And could I embellish all over the place? Yes. Am I going to? No. Let's just keep going. But I do feel like this all needs more of an explanation. Let's just, I really wish that could fit there, but I don't want to crop it that tight. Okay, let's get back to the original page. That wasn't it. This was it, right? So here we are, and then that's going to be, like, they're going to go like this in the album, I think, or maybe they should go like this. I kind of like that better. It kind of doesn't matter. Let's just keep going. Okay, so let's trim out this, because that was just like a book plate in an album, and I was like, oh, that would be a cute embellishment. Because it said where they bought all those books, and most of the books were purchased at Hutchinson's bookstore on Union Street in New Bedford, Massachusetts. So there's Hutchinson's, and that, I guess, could go here too, you know. No, it couldn't. This looks stupid there. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. I'm thinking this doesn't work. So now I'm just trying to figure out how to place these attractively. And I don't know. Could I trim this down? Not really. Sort of, but not totally. And then I'm thinking maybe I could just do a whole like across the page kind of thing. Oh, that looks horrid. So I'm regretting my design choice here because I didn't really think it out that much. And maybe I just need to skip that other photo because it's not going well. I think I'm going to trim my daughter. Sorry, girl. So she's a little bit. Is that weird? It's weird, huh? It's as weird. Pardon me. Okay, so I'm just wondering, should that go down this way or up this way? I kind of want to put her on top because she, because there's a sky in there, but I feel like this is like way too, I think this is the part that's really not working. So let's take that off, and maybe that will help just a little bit. Yeah, so let's start sticking stuff down again. Oh, we're 20 minutes. Where does the time go? I swear. It just, time flies. Like, I'm having fun, but I feel like there's other things I need to be doing too. And I've been really, like, on this family history bend. And I know it's interesting, but it's not interesting for everybody. And so my kids are like, wow, what are you doing on that? Why are you spending so much time? And I guess they just can't really understand just how fascinating it is. They're not the only ones. Like my uncle, the one that was pictured in that on the opposite side there, he doesn't think this is interesting either. So kids are not alone. I don't really like to put that on its side. Okay. Okay, so this is like Ex Libris, which is like from the library of. So this is from the library of Alan Cunningham. I think that works. Plus, he was a kind of a playful guy. So the paper airplanes still work. Like he used to get into all sorts of trouble when he was in elementary school. One of the stories I can remember is that he was. I really did want to put this in somewhere, but I do have it on this page, so it's still in there. So I'm just going to go back in the pile of all the other stuff. Okay, so we're getting closer to being done now. Oh, let's keep that up there. Or let's incorporate that somehow. Those little figures are so cute, but I wish these were switched. Can I switch them? I don't really feel like I can. We'll just do them like that. We'll just lose those cute little figures. Oh well. They're cute, but they really are. They're cuter than that in my opinion, but they're going to get covered up with the Hutchinson's bookstore. So there we are. Ta-da. And now a couple of the things I would like to do is pull this and this over onto here so these match up a little bit better. I don't think it's critical, but I think it's probably easy enough to accomplish. I'm making a mess on my desk, like super huge, colossal mess. I like that too. I'm just picking out things for the garbage can. Yeah, I need to switch probably the arrangement of where my cutter is on the desk. It doesn't really match up over here, but I feel like we just need a little something over this way. Kind of balance all of that stuff out. Hold on. Oop. I'm just going to tuck that under. Come on. That just looks like wallpaper from the olden days. Okay. I don't know if that helped or not. Okay, what's next? Title. Let's do title. The title, what is the title? Where the title could go here. It seems pretty obvious to write family library or old books. What can I write? I don't know what the title should be. I'm going to do a Pinterest search of sayings about libraries and see if I come up with anything. I'm going to pause too so I can not have a horrible time uploading. I think I'm going to go over 2 hours with this. Yikes, hold on. Hey scrapbookers, so I'm back and I was just doing a little bit of lettering on this journal card. I don't think I've changed a whole lot since we were last together. It's been a couple of hours and I went and, you know, did a bunch of family things. And I just want to finish up. And really what I want to focus on is maybe putting some more smaller embellishments. Oh, and I think I did the title when I wasn't with you. Sorry about that, but it's okay. I try to do everything on the video, but it doesn't always work. So I'm just adding these little, these are pretty clever. I've had them for a long time, and looks like I got them at a yard sale for 50 cents. They're called Providence. Small black upper and lower case, letters, punctuations, and numbers by Making Memories, and it has 605 characters. So for 50 cents, that was a good deal. And they go on really easily. Like I just put that on. It's a rub-on. I just put that on with my thumbnail, so it was very easy. And I like how it's all bound together. I should use these more often. So I'm just putting the address of where these books used to live when I remember them. So they were actually older books, so they didn't always live there. But from my memory, that's where I remember the books. So, and I'm also just going to use this space to do a little bit of journaling because there really isn't any on these pages. And I really do feel like I have a lot to say, but I almost feel like I could say nothing at all too. No, but I should say something, but I'm not sure where or how much, because I don't really have any specific stories about these old books. I just know that when I look at them, when I touch them and feel them, it just brings back memories. So I think there's definitely memories in stuff, and that's why, like, I don't really care about them because of the content, although that one about heredity I think is pretty interesting. So these books aren't valuable to me because of what is in them, or even if they're valuable. And I think some of them are because they're so old. But to me they're valuable because I can remember the spines of these books. So I'm just going to write something like that. So, looking at the spines of these old books bring back memories of my childhood at Grandma and Grandpa's. And so much of my childhood was spent at this house here, which is my grandparents' house, and it's a lovely little Cape Cod that was in Dartmouth, Massachusetts, and these books were up in this room above the office. Or yeah, that's where they were. And some of them were in the living room, but I just remember them well, so I might want to just write Grandma Grace Flavin and because I call them, to my kids I call them Grandma Grace and Grandpa Alan. Alan Cunningham's library. I know it says library there, but I'm going to write library anyways. Okay. So I'm pretty happy with that. What can we add to this? So these books belong to, I'll just say Alan and Grace Cunningham. I love to photograph these old books. What else does this need? I did add a couple of doodads. I added this little, because they're just been on my desk and I feel like I ought to use them. What else could I add? I don't know. I almost feel like I should have put some of that tape underneath these books, so that would have been a nice, you know, consistency thing. But I actually think I am going to call it done. This is the other side. And so the story could kind of be like, they were these, you know, my grandparents' books, and now they're in this house of them. But I'm good. I'm not, I know it, you know, it seems like the kind of thing I'd like to type up. And so if I do that, I could just slip it, I could slip the typed story in the back, or I could cut it up and just add it over these pictures here. Yeah, so I'm going to call that done. And you can see this and other layouts that were inspired by pattern and color first, and story second over at the Get It Scrap blog. Thank you for watching. I'm Katie Scott, and my blog is called Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking. Talk to you later.